Each moment spent deliberately, each interaction chosen carefully, is a reinforcement of autonomy. Every withheld response is a reclaiming of your own life, an assertion that your inner state is not a resource to be exploited by anyone who happens to demand it. Consider the people who constantly pull at your focus, the ones who thrive on drama, the ones who feed on conflict, the ones who seek validation by drawing you into their turbulence. Each time you respond, each time you react, you give them proof that they have control. But when you choose not to, when your attention becomes a scarce commodity, the balance shifts. The energy they expected to draw from you is no longer available, and the consequences are not obvious at first, but they are profound. The discipline to guard attention is not about ignoring responsibilities or abandoning care. It is about prioritizing what aligns with your purpose and values. It is about recognizing that your energy is finite and precious, and that its allocation is a reflection of your priorities. By treating attention as sacred, you enforce a standard for interactions, one that discourages exploitation and encourages meaningful engagement. When every word, glance, and gesture is intentional, the world begins to operate under your terms, and you reclaim a quiet authority over your life. Imagine the difference it would make if every conversation you entered, every response you considered, was measured against a single question. Does this deserve my attention? The habitual reflex to react, to explain, to justify, fades when faced with deliberate choice. In its place emerges clarity, presence, and control. The moments that once scattered your focus are transformed into opportunities for growth, understanding, and composure. You begin to move through life not at the mercy of distraction, but as a steward of your own energy. Every refusal to engage unnecessarily is a statement of value. By withholding attention from those who seek to exploit it, you signal that your calm and focus are not negotiable. The response, or absence of it, becomes more powerful than any argument, more effective than any explanation. Others may attempt to provoke or demand your energy, but in choosing not to provide it, you retain your sovereignty. The quiet observer, untouched by drama and undistracted by trivialities, exerts influence simply by being controlled, deliberate, and unreactive. Carl Jung once said, "The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed." When you engage reflexively, you allow transformation according to external influence. But when attention is guarded, when reactions are withheld, transformation occurs on your terms. You become the agent of change in your own life, rather than the instrument of someone else's impulses. Silence and measured presence create a power that cannot be taken, a space where your purpose remains undisturbed. Seneca once said, "We are always complaining that our days are few and acting as though there would be no end of them." The same principle applies to attention and energy. Time and focus are limited. Their expenditure without reflection is a kind of theft from yourself. By being selective, by choosing where to engage and where to remain silent, you recover that which would otherwise be lost. You convert fleeting moments into lasting influence, inconsequential reactions into deliberate power. The quiet mastery of attention is the cornerstone of self-mastery itself. Consider how different your life would feel if each interaction was deliberate rather than reflexive. If each glance, each conversation, each decision to respond or remain silent was measured, you would discover an unseen strength. The world may still move unpredictably, but your inner state would remain constant, unshaken, and sovereign. Attention given selectively is influence earned naturally. Energy preserved becomes the soil in which purpose and achievement grow. By treating attention as currency, by investing only in what matters, you shape a life governed by intention rather than compulsion. Epictetus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Guarding attention is mastery. Choosing silence over reaction is freedom. By reclaiming the moments that others hope to exploit, by discerning where focus belongs, you create a life where chaos, provocation, and distraction hold no dominion. The discipline to protect your energy is the foundation of all self-mastery. With each deliberate pause, each measured engagement, you assert the freedom that has always been yours, and you cultivate a mind that is unassailable, calm, and unshakable. From this place of intentional attention, everything else follows. Decisions become clearer, priorities more evident, and actions more potent. By refusing to invest in the unworthy, you make room for what truly matters. You reclaim power that was never meant to leave your hands. Each choice to guard your attention compounds into a life of focus, clarity, and inner freedom. The world will attempt to pull you into reaction, but when you move deliberately, when your energy is reserved for what is meaningful, you navigate it on your own terms. The mastery of attention is the mastery of life itself. There is a subtle force in the act of withholding a response. When others expect conflict and find none, their assumptions crumble. The need to provoke, to manipulate, to disturb is an energy they have invested in vain, and all the while you remain grounded, observing, and in full control of your own inner state. The Stoic path is clear here. Disturbances exist only if you permit them to. By practicing restraint, by letting silence speak for you, you reclaim authority over your own life, and you demonstrate a strength that is invisible but unmistakable. The power of silence lies not in passivity, but in choice. Every word you refrain from speaking is an assertion of control. Every unengaged provocation is a demonstration of your priorities. When you remain calm while others attempt to pull you into chaos, you create a psychological boundary that cannot easily be breached. Your mind is free, your focus unbroken, and your energy preserved. Others may act out of frustration or confusion, but the steadiness of your presence is a force that subtly reshapes the interaction without a single word exchanged. Silence also functions as a filter. When you engage selectively, when your responses are measured rather than reflexive, only matters worthy of your attention break through. Everything else fades into insignificance. You no longer expend energy on trivial conflicts, pointless debates, or attempts to prove yourself to those who will never understand. This is not avoidance. It is deliberate allocation of your mental and emotional resources. The moments once lost to reaction now become investments in clarity, composure, and strategic presence. Consider the unspoken message you send by remaining quiet. It communicates more than words ever could. Indifference, calm, and restraint create a gravity that draws attention without effort. People notice your steadiness. They perceive control and poise. Your silence becomes a presence in itself, commanding attention and respect. By mastering the art of measured non-engagement, you shape how the world interacts with you, and you preserve the most valuable resource you possess: your own energy. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Silence is a practical exercise of this principle. It is the refusal to surrender your inner life to external pressures, the conscious choice to remain undisturbed in the midst of chaos. By withholding the immediate response, by allowing the moment to pass without reaction, you reclaim autonomy. Your mind is no longer a battlefield for others' desires. It is a sanctuary of calm, observation, and deliberate action. The challenge, of course, is in consistency. Silence must be maintained not only in the easy moments, but also in the provocative ones. Every time someone expects a reaction and you choose not to provide it, you reinforce a habit of autonomy. You teach yourself that your peace is not negotiable and that your energy is not a commodity to be taken lightly. Over time, the habit strengthens, and the quiet authority it generates becomes instinctive. The person who understands the value of silence moves through the world with a gravity that cannot be fabricated, only earned through deliberate self-control. Through sustained practice, silence becomes more than a tactic. It becomes a state of being. It transforms reactive patterns into conscious choices,